I've been working on bikes as a professional for over 40 years, repairing them, restoring them, and building them from scratch. And every now and again, one comes along that reminds me why I do this. It's not because it's rare or valuable, it's because it has heart and soul. This is Now's bike, a French classic I've been looking after for more than a decade. I still remember the first time I saw it, tired, worn, and almost ready to give up. Over the years, I've repaired it, patched things up, and honestly, had to fight with it. There was a point when I had to tell Now it might not make it. The frame could become damaged beyond repair just trying to fix it. It wasn't easy saying that, and it wasn't easy seeing how much it meant to her either.
I was getting ready to say goodbye.
But somehow, the bike held on, maybe through luck, maybe through stubbornness, or maybe just because neither of us was willing to let go. In this video, you'll hear Now's story, how she found the bike, why it matters, and what it means to see it live again. Over the 3 stages of Tour de Bike 2025, I'll be taking you through the full restoration, breathing new life into this century-old frame while keeping its original soul intact. This is the resurrection of Now's bike, a story about patience, trust, and what happens when you just disregard giving up. Let's start with Now and the bike that simply refused to die. So Now, can you tell me how long you've had this bicycle?
I think I have this bicycle around 13 years.
What was it that drew you to the bicycle in the first place? And can you tell me the story about how you come to own it?
I happened to go to the market in France. I was planning to buy furniture, but ended up finding a bicycle.
Whereabouts in France was that?
The place called Lille.
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 If I remember rightly, you told me that you had the bike for a very long time before you started riding it. Why didn't you use it for a very long time?
At that time, I had another second-hand bicycle,
Okay.
which happened to be also French. So I was using that, and also when I bought this bicycle, the one we were talking about, it was not rideable condition.
Were there any memorable rides or adventures that you had?
The next bike ended its life, and I started using it, and then that was the first time I went to visit your workshop to get service, which was a long journey from Kent, about 13 miles. Yeah, that was the kind of scary and exciting moment.
I mean, there have been times when I was scared of riding your bike. 13 miles is a long way to do before it's even been fixed to start with.
Yeah, it was not good condition, yeah.
What has made you hold on to the bike for all these years?
I began to feel very comfortable riding with it. Luckily, this bicycle and body ratio was matching. I began to notice the beauty of the frame, and people start commenting, and yeah, I felt I start having a personal attachment to this bicycle.
I should say, for anyone watching, I've actually been servicing and repairing this bike for over 10 years now. 5 years ago, I had to tell Now that it would become irreparable if I couldn't get the cranks off and then the bottom bracket out. On a bike this old, it could be impossible to remove without permanently damaging the frame. Do you remember how you felt about that now?
Yes, I remember. You made me cry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was devastated.
Did you ever think it might be the end of the road for this bike?
Yeah, I felt that very much.
I guess that's why you're so upset.
Yes, I was getting ready to say goodbye.
5 years is a long time to carry that burden.
It's like giving a life sentence. Yes.
When you brought the bike to me last summer for a minor repair, I told you this really is the very end. We need to try something to get the bottom bracket free while you're still using it every day. I suggested the only hope was to drill a hole in the seat tube so you could spray GT85 in there every few days to maybe help free up the left-hand bottom bracket cup. I wasn't shy about telling you I didn't hold out any expectation for it being successful. How did that make you feel?
It scared me more. I got nervous every day. I almost didn't want to come to visit your workshop because
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, because it was like a reality. I didn't want to face it, but at the same time, you gave me a chance, possibility to be able to fix. That was like great. Yes.
3 months later, when you brought the bike into me for a puncture repair, I thought, let's just see if the left-hand bottom bracket cup will move. And it did. Tell me what your emotions were when I gave you the good news, bearing in mind that there was no guarantee the right-hand crank and bottom bracket cup would also come off.
I was over the moon, so happy. I wanted to hug you on my bike.
I also remember a few days later when I spent over 5 hours getting the right-hand crank off, access the right-hand cup and somehow try to get it to move. You were here in the workshop while I was hammering and drilling and along with some swearing, and I think there was even some blood. That must have been hard for you to watch, but I remember you being very calm. Can you remember what you were thinking at the time?
Felt like I was on the operation table, having done this, like heart surgery. But I knowing that the bike is in good hand, so I could stay calm, even you're sweating.
And when I finally managed to get the right-hand cup to move, in that moment, it was evident we were now able to upgrade the bottom bracket system and replace the worn-out drivetrain. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, this is it. Knowing this bicycle somehow will be able to survive.
Being a French bike, as we believe it is, the bottom bracket shell is French. You can't just put a Shimano bottom bracket in there because the fitment isn't compatible with the thread type of the frame. That doesn't leave many options for replacement. At 50 quid, one could put a sealed unit in that may last 5 years or so. Do you remember what you said to me?
I think I probably said it was it. Have a expensive version, options, but match the lifespan to the bicycle frame that now I know surely can live long.
So you didn't want to have to repair it again in the future?
No.
I explained at the other end of the spectrum is something like a filled wood bottom bracket. This would last much longer and the bearings could be replaced if they did ever wear out. We talked about the other upgrades we should make to the bike while it was here, having the bottom bracket and drivetrain replaced, like fitting a rear brake to make it much safer to ride. It also meant you could stop using a fixed gear as a second brake and enjoy the freedom of being able to zoom down hills with a free wheel. Do you remember what your thoughts were when I told you about that?
I was hesitated at the beginning because kind of used riding fixed gear. Also, I was really enjoying it, but having back brakes, safe ride, free wheels makes probably more comfortable ride eventually. So I felt like, okay, why not to?
Were you worried that the work I would have to do to the frame to put a rear brake on it properly may affect the nostalgia or anything to do with the age of the bike and its character?
Yes, I was worried, and I prefer having simple-looking classic bicycle. I prefer to not have many cables around the frame.
The rear brake cable routing could be done a number of ways. It could be fitted with old-fashioned cable guides which clamp around the cable and the tube, or I could brace cable stops on the frame which, like fitting a new rear brake bridge, would damage the paintwork on the frame. This is when the project took a turn there was no way I could envisage. Can you tell the viewers what you had in mind?
Yes, I prefer to have a cable inside the frame to keep simple look. At the same time, damaging the paint was concerned, but I prefer to have like a little bit more rough look to match the rest of the frame.
So you wanted to keep some of the patina to it?
Yes.
Joining the new with the old?
Yes.
And you liked the idea of that?
Yes.
As part of the original briefing, the bike would also need brake levers, a rear brake caliper and brake cables. Were you concerned in any way these modifications to the frame and upgrading with modern parts would change particular details of the bike that would no longer be there?
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned again, but this is the way to improve. I was curious to see old things meet the new things.
With only 3 weeks to complete all of this work, including filming it, while you were at home in Japan, could you tell the viewers what other things you wanted done while the bike was here?
Yeah, I remember that time I had a mud guard which has been broken for ages, but it was not fitting nicely anymore. It was quite comedy look before.
Comedy look, did you say? When you pictured the bike with an upgrade to the bottom bracket, drivetrain and braking improvements, how did you imagine it would look and feel to ride?
I couldn't imagine. because I haven't had any quality bicycle in my life. Everything I had through my life was second-hand bicycle, and I was unimaginable.
It's hard to envisage that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Tell me what making these upgrades to your bike means to you personally.
Oh, personally, it feels like I now have good friends who can share life experience with me. Yeah, forever, maybe, hopefully.
If this bicycle could tell its own story, what kind of life do you think it has had, and how do you think it would feel about getting a second chance to carry its guardian from place to place, smoother and safer than ever before?
So I think this bicycle probably aged around 100, and back in time must be very special things to have a bike at home, and I think it's been loved so much. And through those years, I probably imagine house to house, family to family, and probably some point was sitting in a garage or shed. You know, I'm lucky I could get this bicycle, and then now everything customized and fixed and probably at its best. And I think this bicycle is very happy.
So you're both very happy?
Yes, I am happy too.
Finally, now you've ridden the bike after the modifications and upgrades, where was the first place you rode the bike when you realised it was all worth it?
I think when I did a long distance to Woodford, which was about 16 miles, everything felt like so smooth and fast. So this made it so like, wow, you know, how smoothly and easily I can ride on it.
Okay, I think that's the end of our questions. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me now.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
Thank you. This project is special to me, not because of the challenges, because of the heart behind it. I've worked on tens of thousands of bikes in my time, and they all have a story. But this one is different and special. There's a friendship between now and this machine that's rare, and consequently, I've become part of it too. This bike has tested every bit of experience, and the challenges haven't been small. From the seized French bottom bracket, to frame modifications and hidden cable routing. But that's exactly what makes it worth doing. In stage 1 of Tour de Bike 2025, we'll dive into the restoration itself, freeing the bottom bracket up and beginning the transformation. If you want to see a preview of what's to come, click on the video at the end. And if you haven't seen the Tour de Bike 2024 series showing all the corners cut when a bike is manufactured to save money, you don't know what you and your bike are missing. I'm Ashley Malcolm, and I look forward to seeing you at the beginning of the resurrection of Now's bike. Until then, thanks and take care.